This is the Hustler's Corner.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Hustler's Corner. Biko Mismuda here. I just want to appreciate you guys for tuning in. And a quick one. Before we start, as usual, we go straight to that sharp sign. And I'd like for you guys to click it on the count of 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Click, 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 click. Thank you. Now, I'm hanging out with a brother of mine. He's actually a friend. So, ningang mangalelu na nang papanya, because I'm more comfortable. It's somebody I've known for many years. It's somebody whom we came up together in the business. When I say in the business, I'm talking about the media and entertainment business. And as we've grown, we've all just diversified into other businesses and into becoming fully fledged business people. Now, hustlers out there, the person that I have here is a hustler extraordinaire. A person who's been in the entertainment industry, a person who's been in the media space, a person who's been in the eventing industry, a person who's evolved from that space into becoming the well-established business person that he is right now. So it's totally up to you whether you want to refer to him as a property mogul, a real estate mogul, you want to refer to him as a businessman, you want to refer to him as a serial entrepreneur. It's totally up to you. But I always say, if you can conquer the entertainment industry, you can do anything. If you can conquer the eventing industry, you can do anything, because that space exposes you to a different world, a world of politicians, a world of business people, world of fun lovers, I'm a groovist. And it's just totally up to you. What do you do with that network that you're exposed to every weekend when you go out there? And I think a lot of you guys would actually love to hear it from the horse's mouth himself. Just know the man's story and how far he's come to build himself into becoming the powerhouse that is not only is, but whatever he is becoming. Because I'm definitely sure he's one of those guys whom in the next top 10 of the wealthiest people in South Africa, he's definitely going to feature at some point. Why? Because he masters and understands the importance of real estate. I'm not talking about these other business ventures. I'm specifically talking about real estate. And there might be a thing or two that he might share as well in that space that you and I might be exposed to, and we will learn. He's not only that, he's also a family man, he's a father, he's a responsible member of society because he's a philanthropist. He does a lot of charitable deeds. And I don't like calling it charity because I believe, charity, they celebrate, charity, I'm doing charity. Rona, it's something we live. It's something we feel it's something we have to do because that's where you come from. You have to always give back. And he does that quite a lot. So he'll be sharing a lot of that and his journey. But I promise you, this is the most I will speak on this interview because I would just like this man to share his story. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. TT Mbha.
Yo, I've been waiting for this. Divine appointment.
I think it's been long overdue.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah,
but it's God's time. I need to know things happen for a reason. And there's a reason why we are here together today. It could have been 2 weeks ago, could have been 2 weeks to come, but today was ordained. So, in fact, we even scheduled this an hour earlier than we were supposed to because it's supposed to happen now.
Yeah. And actually, it was supposed to happen last week.
Yes.
It was supposed to happen just before COVID.
Correct.
It was supposed to happen the year before COVID.
Yes.
2019. And it was supposed to happen maybe a year or 2 years even before then.
Yeah.
But what I love is over the years, we've both grown.
Yeah.
And there's so much experience we've accumulated. And there's so much achievements.
Correct.
Has blessed
so there's more to talk about.
Yeah. So let's start from Dalikasu Sesentwana. Who is Mr. TT Mbha?
So mina grand kamala Sipho Tatomba. Sipho until I got to high school and matric, and then the name TT became quite popular, and that's how the brand TT actually started. So TT is actually as a result of my name Tato. There's 2 T's in Tato. A lot of people think my name is Temba because of the TT Mbha. So gotta clear that out. It's TT Mbha, and that's the brand. Nkulele Kasi, like any typical Kasi boys.
Which Kasi is that?
Pimville, Soweto. Nkulele Pimville, Zone 7, Soweto. And soccer was one of the sports that was popular at the time. We had no other options. It's either you were a soccer player or you were a cross-country runner, which I was both. Being stamina cool, and that's what I used to do. But interestingly enough, I was quite different growing up from the other kids. I used to have a very weird habit of walking around Ekas and looking at homes. There was this fascination Ekasi that if you live in a corner house, you are rich. It was automatic. Big windows, big gates, corner house, ninenyu. So So I've always been fascinated about this narrative. Why do people assume that because you've got a corner house, you automatically have, bigger pockets? Which is actually not true, by the way. You actually discover that. And I think that's where my love for real estate was planted. The seed was planted, but I didn't realize it then because I was just living like a typical Kasi boy. The typical stories as a Kasi. But what I appreciate about growing up in Kasi is that, and I always say this everywhere I go, is that Kasi is the ultimate university of life. Because that's where you actually get to mix with different cultures. I'm Xhosa, but next door, my friend Gubo with a vendor. On the other side, I'm a Pedi. Across the road, I'm a Zulu. But at the end of the day, we were able to communicate somehow. There was always that brotherhood and sisterhood. In an era where umzali or a neighbor has a right to because we had that unity. There was no thing with we knew there's that thing of raising the kids as a community, song as a family. So that was my upbringing. Pimville, up to standard 2. We are from that area, my standard, number 4, Pelatin. And then I went to Mpanza. Mpanza in Diepkloof, I then was there from standard 3 to 5. And then I was taken to Epanato Park by my parents. Hillbro, yeah. Is standard 6 there. I actually got expelled there.
Standard 6, guys, is grade 8.
Grade 8. Yeah, I actually got expelled. Epanato. I've been through man. I mean, I think he probably I'm going to about level. And as a result, I started that mentality of level and I brought it to scale. Whenever there used to be a random test, I used to disrupt it last. Because so why am I separating us so fail?
Pass all.
I was like, no, this can't work. So la paper naturally was a credit system. There was no corporal punishment. So you start off the year with 100 credits. And every time you do something wrong, your credits deplete up to nothing. And then when you get to nothing, then obviously back goes. So my bank goes, I think about September. Then obviously my parents negotiated with them and they didn't stay until the end of the year by an exam. And then Uzovaya. That's when I went to Parktown Boys. They took me to a boys' school, obviously, because there was that perception with a boys' school. It's quite militant in approach. They will teach you first week of school, standard 6. I fight with a matriculant because there was this whole notion with more figure as a standard 6, they pay you with a matriculant. You run to the tuck shop to buy for them and you just basically become their skivvy. And I mean, from where I'm from, you must always submit to Abantu. So that was my first altercation with a matriculant. Bank suspender for a week, but then I started changing my mindset with, you know what? Here I've got the best of both worlds. During the day in Keller in the north, and then in the afternoon, my reality is that we walk back to Ekas. And back then, so we actually had to hide my place away to my packing. We do challenging a shirt white in Nazikri. Go back to Velokelezara.
No man cross Carlton send to Sylvester Brand Patu.
Sylvester Dallas Patu. Sylvester from Pimville. Sylvester I'm a peep. Remember there was a time when I'm a peep. I'm a page. I'm a page on my 2.
I'm a hit. Empty cassette. Out 2 for 5 rand. Those who know.
No, yeah. Young shot twice. The Carlton sent. Because we're starting to get up a kind bang on Fridays. I'm going to disaploma la pay food court. We are hustling, you know. I stopped going there because I realized it's a danger spot. This guy is always there. Matriculated, Parktown 1996. I think I was 16 years old when I matriculated. I was quite young. And then I pursued a degree in fashion design and clothing management at TWR, VetsTech. But the branch I lie down.
Yeah,
I went to Fontaine. When I was
Ilov Street.
I guess there was Auckland Factory and Ilov Street. So I was go Ilov Street because all the
design students.
Yeah, design students were all there.
Yeah.
And that's where I actually started realizing my ability to be able to concentrate even in the noisiest place.
By the way, guys, just to keep you up to date, TWR is what today is called UJ University of Johannesburg.
Yes.
Shout out to everybody that went to TWR. I know you guys are fathers and mothers now, and we're all raising our kids. So we're just sharing our stories. So when he's saying TWR, the reference to that is University of Johannesburg, UJ.
Yeah.
Because it had to merge with a then university that was called RAU at the
Yes.
time. It was the Randse Afrikaanse University,
yes.
which was the campus that is now in Melville, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
they merged
into what UJ is now.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. Even my qualification still is TWR. So studied that course. I was the only guy in class because it involves a lot of sewing, manufacturing. So I can actually design a garment from scratch and actually make it. That's what we were taught. I was a top student. Unbelievable. So I got a scholarship from DuPont. They manufacture Lycra. They sponsored my studies, which was a relief for my parents because they didn't have to worry about my tuition fees whilst I was in varsity. I then graduated and then I worked for Edgar's, Edcon. They employed me as a trainee buyer.
Crown Mines.
Crown Mines, yeah. They employed me as a trainee buyer. I was so good at it that in 6 months, they actually employed me as a full-time buyer. I was a specialist buyer, the youngest at the time. I think I was 20 when I started off Edgar's. My first flight or experience of getting onto a plane was on the 14th of February, 2000. I was 20.
Valentine's Day.
I flew to Durban, a business class with the exec at the time. It was my first time experience. And I share this because I want people to also understand that our journeys are different. Abanye abantu were born with privilege, abanye were born without privilege. So you shouldn't be ashamed of the fact that the first time you got onto a flight, you were 20. There's nothing to be ashamed of. And I've accumulated so many miles since then. This is 22 years ago, because I'm 42 now. So when I reflect back, 22 years ago was the first time I actually got onto a flight. And I sit now, 22 years later, and I've been on so many flights. It's immaterial. But the moral of the story is that you must capture your story and appreciate the journey. Yeah, then enjoyed working at Edgar's as a buyer. Got bored after a year because it was too much travel for me. I traveled so much, but I was single, no kids, nothing at the time. Then I joined Total South Africa. They actually headhunted me and they wanted me to run their convenience division, the entire convenience division in terms of buying. Because as you know, like Mofaya get listed in these convenience stores, but someone actually has to list them and go through the process of making sure that the quality, the pricing is right, and the locations and all of that. You would know this because you are in that space. Did that for a while, got bored of it, and then I said to them, I want to get into marketing. So whilst working at Total, I then started pursuing my qualification in marketing through IMM. And I was spotted at The Rock, hanging around Nabangan Bami. This lady was actually looking for promoters at the time. They said to me, come through for an interview. We like your personality. You look like an extrovert. You look like you're good with people. And that's what we're looking for. I then went for an interview the next day. I killed it. They employed me on the spot. They're like, you are definitely what we're looking for. You're going to become an official Smirnoff ambassador. So I had 2 jobs at that time. And then I'm also studying. So it was tough. So I remember having to wake up on Sundays because Bespana a Kalapesh on Sundays.
Yeah, I remember
Kalapesh. You leave Kalapesh at 5 a.m, Monday morning, straight back to Ekasi to literally get home, shower, prepare breakfast, back at Edgar's to go and do my work.
And guys, Calabash was on Sundays.
Not only on Sundays.
Yeah.
Only on Sundays. And for me, what that taught me, that period of my life taught me to be able to multitask. So here am I, 2 jobs. I'm trying to study as well, and also trying to make a difference in my life. And there was this whole myth, which success is defined by the car you buy after Todispan. We all knew that the first thing you do when you get a job is buy a car, but you're still staying at home. I wish I had a different mindset then. I wish I had mentors like us back then who would guide us to say, no, actually don't do that. Via upai tunnels nyana, pay installment, fagi tenant, stay at home, contribute endlini, someone is paying your bond for you. I wish I had all of that. Still, it's okay because everyone else is still doing it. But I think at the time, success was defined differently. Times have changed, of course. I then left Total. I was headhunted again by Sasol. Sasol approached me to head up their customer experience division, which was a new position that they created. So I was thrown into the fire there because literally I was the only black exec at the time. Young, I probably was 24 at the time, and the portfolio was quite big. And there were a lot of Afrikaners in that exec. And here comes this young black boy who is quite driven, quite robust in my approach. Because ngibonile ukuthi lana if ngizangale attitude ukuthi ngiyancenga izonkawata and izonkawata those that are coming behind me. And so I took on that approach, and I then graduated, by the way, whilst I was still at Total through IMM. And then when I was at Sasol, I realized the scope is quite big. And then I pursued a degree in project management through Cranefield College, because I felt that I need to understand the art of project managing different projects in a corporate environment. I did exceptionally well there, Spoo, to a point where I was promoted and I was a GM at some point. And then in 2020, I resigned. I left corporate and I told myself, I've been working in corporate from 2000 till 2020. I've got 10 years of experience. I've worked for these corporates. I think I've only worked for 4. It was Edcon. It was Smirnoff. At the time, it was called Brand House.
I think that's when we met.
Yeah.
When we're meeting, we're all young at the time. Obviously, now we're all family men.
Yeah, we're still young, though.
We're big homies as much as we're young. But the reason why I want to say that is because when you're young, you're finding yourself. You're out there, you're partying.
A lot.
TT was one of those guys who was, when you look at the coolest guys in Joburg, the guys who drive the nicest cars, the guys who hang around the celebrities, the guys who are around the most beautifulest people.
Yeah. Ladies, you mean? You can say it. No. My wife knows. I mean, so
when it comes to the most beautifulest people,
yeah,
TT was one of those guys, like top notch. TT was not just average. No. TT was just cream of the crop, like no compromise, top class.
I'd rather come alone.
Those who know him from back then know what I'm talking about.
Bias. And I think that's where we actually our paths crossed. Because I remember when I was working for Smirnoff, we were planning a big event at TS Records, Dorothy Nyembe Stadium in Dobsonville. It was one of the biggest successes I've ever been a part of. And I walked into TS Records offices in Auckland Park, ne?
Yeah.
At the time, it was yourself, TK, and Lupi was in the room. And I was there to present the plan because we were going to sponsor the event as Brand House. It was Smirnoff and Spice Gold. And we're going through the plan. What's our role? What are we going to do for you guys at this event? And at the time,
those days,
man.
I was saying, man. You know what I tell people that I've lived?
They think
it's like, I don't have any regrets. I've traveled, I've lived, I've been with the most beautifulest people.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so content, you know?
And you guys had such an amazing chemistry around that room. You walk into TS Records, you literally want to work there. And that's the feeling I got when I walked in.
And we're young. We're young. All in our 20s.
Feisty.
We're making things happen. We're shaking the whole country.
Feisty. But what I loved about us then, there were no egos. There was no celebrity thing. There was no woman. I'm Smirnoff. I'm bringing this for you guys. It was, we are honored to be a part of this. We want to be a part of this. The youth is looking forward to this. YFM was the broadcaster of choice. Smirnoff and Spice Gold was the alcohol brand of choice. The artists were there. The record label was there. The venue was there. Ekasi. It was one of the... I can remember everyone just going like this. We had Brown Dash. We had Mzege. We had Dando. And your MC was... What's this guy's name? He's big as... Man, what a funny guy.
Anybody from Soweto knows Fats.
Fats, my first encounter with Fats, I was not happy with him. Because this guy, I'm a sponsor. Yeah, I'm supposed to eat tag. But what I loved about our friendship that started then was that it's always been consistent. From the minute I was introduced to you, but Ulubi actually introduced us. This is TT Mbha, this is Spoo, this is TK. We've never looked back. We've always looked at each other as brothers in the space. So fast track and fast forward, did well at Smirnoff. I then got bored of it. I started a production company, joined a production company in 2010. Nabomandla and Nabodumi, Black Brain Pictures. We did amazing work.
You guys managed Gang of Instrumentals?
Yes, I actually managed Gang of Instrumentals. Because Gang of Instrumentals was Dumi, Mandla and Bongo Riot.
Yeah, and people don't know, Mandla, the one who's giving you beautiful TV productions right now, about Lockdown, about Deep
City, yeah.
About she's done a lot of amazing projects.
Yeah.
City Sesla,
Topla.
all of those projects. The company was in its inception. He was a part of it, including Mandla, including Tumi, was a part of that whole crew. It's just amazing how we've all evolved and we still kept good relations.
Yeah.
But this guy, for a lot of people that don't know, actually he was a part of Black Brain Pictures from when it started.
Yeah, I was a partner. And I've always been behind the scenes, Minaspu. I've always had the ability and the talent to give those that need the spotlight to shine. I mean, I'm always the one who makes the deals happen. I'm always the one who checks the contracts. I'm always the one who goes to sponsors to ask for money. That's my gift. And I stay in my lane because that's who I am. Fast forward, I then was approached. In fact, I wasn't even approached. Mandla's brother was getting married in Pimville. And Chaos.
Umncedi. Sure.
Good friend of mine. Unfortunately, on the day, I think he got sick.
Guys, Chaos Selima Tunes. He used to be a Selima Tunes presenter.
100%. He got sick or something. So Baby Joe asked me to present. Nyastroya, number one. Here comes this white man. You look like you're forward. Can you present? And I was like, I'll do this thing. I presented. I shared the best way I know how. Iskasi. And apparently the viewers loved me.
And I have to come in there. I know you guys get irritated when I come in.
No, you must.
When the guests are talking. Why am I coming in? When you are given an opportunity, don't say, that's not my line of expertise.
Exactly.
Don't say, I can't do it.
Exactly.
You must say, of course, I'm good at this. Sometimes when you get an opportunity, even if you can't execute it, you can't do it, you will then go find people that you can partner with on the project who can do the work.
Correct.
And I'm not saying lie, but a lot of the times people will lose opportunities by saying, no, that's not my line of work. No, I can't do that. He said he could do it, knowing very well he was not a presenter.
Yeah.
But he killed it.
It was my first time with cameras, with a mic. So I'll never forget how scared I was. Being tuge, marangashe utazin. Unkulunkulu na uyakunika isita boy. Nai, kichima ngayo. So I blocked everything else. I killed it. I killed it to a point that I started. They brought me on so many times. They took me everywhere in so much. So I became a replacement presenter when Chaos couldn't make it. When Brown, the late Brown, couldn't make it.
So rest in peace.
Yeah.
Brown, rest in peace, my brother. Brown Matime,
Yeah, Brown Matime. And then there was another lady. What's her name? Sibulelo.
Yeah.
So there were three of them. But I think, what was different about me and what the viewer loved is my delivery in the Kasi way. So Choba Fetu.
Because we know you could switch.
Yeah, I'll tell me. Like everything. So I decided, I want to be comfortable because if I'm going to present the show, because I watched how the other three were doing it. And they were very polished presenters. They were very good. Umncedi was one of the best presenters. But I thought, how am I going to be memorable to the viewer? And I remember we were in Mpumalanga, there was a big festival. And I was interviewing Umzegezeg. And he actually said to me, I will have a boy. And I lasted for a long time. I did that stint. That actually gave me exposure into what it's like to be in front of the camera. It was my first experience because, like I said, I was always the one behind the scenes, operating as the engine and pushing the guys forward. That's when I realized, and actually, I thank Baby Joe because I grew up as a public speaker. So I was in the debating team and in the public speaking team. But I was never, one for cameras. I've always been shy of that. So that's why you can see now with all my shows, I'm comfortable all the time. I deliver in the best way that I know. Fast forward, I then decided to, I'm tired of this production space. This was in 2013. I was diagnosed with acute meningitis. Acute meningitis, it's an airborne disease. Anyone can get it. And so I was hospitalized for 7 days. And in those 7 days, everyone that came to visit me had to wear masks. I've still got pictures, actually. The 2013, when I was in that hospital bed for 7 days, I think somehow God was talking to me because I had been meaning to get into real estate for the longest time. When I left that hospital after saying recovery from meningitis, I called Abomandla and I called the meeting. I was like, guys, I can't do this anymore. I need to pursue my passion. I almost lost my life and I need to now pursue my passion and my purpose. And they said to me, no, well, you can still stay on and pursue your passion because now we're also pursuing our musical passions whilst we're pushing the business. So we did that for a while, but after a while, I decided, no, let me relinquish my ownership of Black Brand so that I can really focus. And I started a company called Black Real Estate in 2014. Black Real Estate, a new company. I then had to become an intern. So basically.
Black Real Estate 2014, when he started, he had an opportunity at the time to be our partner at Mofire.
Yeah.
He had an opportunity to continue with Black Brain Pictures, but he had to take the decision and be honest with himself to follow his passion.
Yeah.
And you have to be honest with yourself, hustlers. There's going to be those moments in your life where there is money in front of you, but maybe that's not your passion. Or maybe there's other opportunities, but at some point you're going to have to be honest with yourself and decide, where am I taking my life? And I'm sharing this because I know that's what a lot of you guys are going to go through at some point. Or maybe some of you guys are going through that right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all about today's sacrifice for tomorrow's gain. And my decision not to join Imofire and to leave Black Brain had nothing to do with the fact that there was anything wrong with the deals. It had a lot to do with me pursuing my passion that I've put on the back burner for so long. And in retrospect, I don't regret my decision because I was able to build a solid base in terms of my real estate business. I took the plunge, and for a year, I was an intern, basically following other agents, looking at what they're doing, how they're doing it. Some of them made me, I must give you up. I used to make tea and coffee for them. At my accomplished age, I'm coming from Cecil as a GM. I used to be a brand ambassador. So I'm well established, you know. In terms of the salary I used to earn, here am I making tea and coffee for
in your 30s.
Yeah, making tea and coffee for these guys because they are training me. I did it, Spune.
But you knew what you were doing.
No, I wasn't there for that. So I would do whatever was necessary to get to where I needed to be. I knew that I had a 12-month goal to get this internship out of the way. And to tell you the truth, I still remember those two white agents. And I'm saying white, not to be racial or anything, but we don't have a lot of black qualified estate agents in South Africa, so they were white. Those people treated me like the scum of the scum. But I took it. You know why? Because I knew what I was doing. Those two people work for me now. And yet the moral of the story is that sometimes you need to kill people with humility. Ubuntu bakho must never be compromised because of someone's inability to have values. And that for me is something that Ikasi taught me. That's why I keep saying to everyone who asks me, Ikasi is the university of life because it teaches you the downs and the ups of life. And I can't believe I forgot this. My first unofficial job was selling pots. I think I told you this.
Was it with AMC or AMC?
No, some Chinese people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been jumping my fences. And that's why my narrative always has the story of from pots to mansions. From someone who used to sell pots, I now sell mansions. Those pots are residing inside those mansions. So for me, I never forget that because it humbles me. Every time I think big of myself or I think maybe I've arrived, I always remind myself of that little boy that used to jump a petit bag and gag. My board. Take some board. So then I qualified. I wrote my board exam. Qualified as an estate agent. I then started operating under Black Real Estate. I then also wrote a second board exam. These board exams are like 6-hour board exams, where I then qualified as a master practitioner in real estate. It's the highest designation you can have, which means I'm a principal. I run the show. I can take on all the other estate agencies. I'm not going to name them because they don't deserve to be on this platform. But any white-owned estate agency you can think of, we go head-to-head with them without fail. Because today we've got a different approach. You know, we are relatable. We don't have those highbrow personalities. You know, we can go and sell Ekasi and move around and go sell at Clifton because that's just who we are. It's abantu ngabantu because the Puma in the environment is fundiseli ukuthi umuntu ngabantu. So did exceptionally well. I mean, then I partnered with a company called Keller Williams. Keller Williams is the number one selling estate agency in the US. The US is big. We're talking 52 states, and they're number one. So I decided to partner with them because I wanted to branch outside South Africa one day, which I eventually did. And that's why I was able to have offices in New York, Texas, and Atlanta through their network app. Fast forward, I then realized, Gucci, there's a lot of opportunity. We're doing well in terms of sales. How do I create other income streams using real estate? And that's how I created the show Mzansi Cribs Makeover. Because I was watching Extreme Home Makeover SAUS and how they do it. And I was wondering, why isn't any of these estate agencies doing a show of fixing people's homes? Is it a budget thing? Is it an ignorance thing? Or they feel, we can't do this because the beneficiaries are going to be black people? I then did it. It took me 5 years to get sponsors. I knocked at every bank. I knocked at every corporate. The doors kept closing. It got to a point where I actually took a break for 6 months of pushing this. I was like, you know what, maybe there's a reason why nobody has done this. And then something in me said, you're not born to give up. It's not in your DNA to give up. Especially Mapumekasi. Mapumekasi, you get told, Gucci, we are forced. Mina beyond these are forced. We are forced. Hi man, we are forced. Ufuna lapo. Soga lapo, we are forced. Menasbu, I'll tell you, Foster Gwami has gotten me everything that I have today. Foster Gwami has given me access to all the celebrities. And that's why when I post pictures with celebrities, people think, where have you been, dude? Where do you know these people from? They don't realize, but it's through my fostering that I've been able to meet people like yourself. Will Smith, no Jada, when they were in South Africa, through Foster Gwami. There were bodyguards there, but no one is allowed there. I'm not to be now. Because what? I'm kitchen. By the time that bodyguard it was too late. Will Smith was like, because obviously the media is there. They're gonna go, why are you manhandling this young man? But I'm so sorry to do this to you. I'm a big fan of yours. All I want is just a picture. I'm from Soweto and I'm here. Do you know what Will did? He got up. He asked his wife to get up. He said, go stand there with my wife. He took a picture of me and his wife. And then he said to his wife, please come through. And she took a picture of me and him. I will never forget that. If Benga Foster Asbu, I was going to one of those, still saying today, I could have. I've got pictures with them. I've got pictures with any local celebrity you can think of. I've got pictures with most international celebrities because I've always positioned myself as that person who must be in a pole position.
So I like what you've just shared because they will only take pictures with celebrities. But a person like you, Opumekas, you're smart enough to know. And I'm not saying sometimes share your secrets here.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't just be excited of taking pictures with celebrities.
Yeah.
But what should we do with that type of, I don't want to call it collateral, but equity. Because you've got pictures with these people. What are some of the things that you can do to change your life using these pictures with these celebrities?
100%. And that's the thought process I had at the time because social media was not big then. I think at the time we had BlackBerry. BlackBerry was almost like a social media because we update status.
Check BBM.
Check BBM. Yeah. I'm a pin. But Mina, for me, why I took pictures with those people, even though it might not have meant anything at the time, was because I was establishing my social currency. Social currency has a lot to do with who you associate with, whether you like it or not. People judge you by who you associate with. If I take a picture with the president, they already automatically think, I'm in. Yeah, Bali. I take a picture with Sbu. Bali. Who's this guy? Why is this guy always with celebrities? Why? It even gets better when those celebrities even post you.
Yeah.
That's equity. It's intangible. And for me, that's how I actually grew the black real estate business. So I used to sell a lot of houses to celebrities. And all I would ask for them is to take a picture with my board. I support black real estate. Because if you're a celebrity and you see another celebrity, you're going to go, Maranama must support this guy. Sure.
Yeah.
And it's an innovation that didn't cost me much. So it didn't cost me $200 to make that board. But it gave me so much equity outside that board. So whilst all these other estate agents are putting up for sale boards, I've never had a for sale board. I've never had a for sale board.
Yeah.
The only boards I've put in are billboards of my business.
Yes,
yeah, on the N1, on the M1, because I realized I need to scale myself up. How do I scale myself up and become different? Is by using these celebrities and my connections to propel my business to the next level.
Network, guys. They always say you are the sum of
your net worth.
Yes, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, complain.
No, you mustn't.
Let him flow because he's dropping jewels here. And for some of you guys who are smart, I'm sure you're picking up these jewels. Continue, bro.
And so the other thing that I want to actually speak about is that, Mina, I'm not about positions. Call me a founder, call me a CEO, call me a chairman. Those things mean nothing to me. What's most important is getting the job done. I remember when you were leaving YFM, I came with the crew. Guess who was recording this? I was recording. I was behind the camera.
You recorded that thing?
Yeah, your farewell.
You by in the morning.
In town.
Yes. When we shut down Bree Street.
You shut down.
Taxi rank, yeah.
We had
when people were hanging on top of building.
We had four camera guys. I was the main petty camera, You following you around. Your farewell was probably the most memorable farewell I've ever seen. I've never seen people not worry about what their bosses are going to say, because it was around 8 o'clock. And that's when people actually have to clock in, right?
Have you guys seen a concert in the morning? In the morning, around 5:17, shut down streets.
You shut down. Taxis were like, there was traffic. I mean, we struggled just to get in. And so for me...
You recorded that thing, Joe.
Yeah, we recorded it.
You still have it?
Yeah, no.
Boy.
It's there. I should have it in the archives. Because for me, that farewell was a message to a lot of youth that change is not only necessary, but change is inevitable. Because we like to box people, which but when you grow, people get uncomfortable when there's change, right? And those that are leaders are susceptible and agile towards change. And for me, it was a turning point in your career. Because to leave YFM was like, it was unbelievable for all of us.
It was risky.
Like, why you fighting? We're happy.
Yeah.
And we forget to dream because we get comfortable in the positions that we've been given over time. And that for me is one thing I wanted to talk about. No matter what position you are in your business, whether you're a CEO, you must get dirty. Even up to this day, I'm planning a golf day now. I'm running around. I'm doing the interviews myself. I'm making the calls. I'm interacting because I am the face of my brand. I can't expect to have someone only do this. Just because you're a CEO doesn't mean you must in that box, in that cocoon of yours.
Let's talk about your charity. And I was about to get in there. I actually don't like the word charity.
Yeah. No, Nami. I even on my profiles, on my other profiles on social media, I put community. Not charity. Because charity is almost like you're feeling pity. It's not about that. It's about appreciating the fact that we are all a community. And in that community, we must always uplift each other. So that's how I look at it, Mina, in those terms. So if I donate something to you, and a lot of people have given me flack for posting such things. But why would post you've given away a pair of sneakers?
When I post
exactly. So for me to be able to post is not to brag, but it's to encourage someone else. You could also do the same.
Yeah.
Nothing stops you from doing it. If I can do it
to perpetuate a positive giving spirit.
Let it spread.
Yeah.
Instead of us spreading negativity, let's spread positivity in what we do.
Thank you, boy.
So for me, it's about community. So charity, I'm with you on that. That word doesn't resonate with me.
So let's talk about the golf day.
Yeah.
And by the way, guys, we are recording this in 2021 level 2 lockdown.
Yeah.
In 2021 in June, I think today is the 10th or the 11th.
Today is the 11th of June.
Some of you guys are going to be watching this video 20 years from today, but this is literally a few days before June 16th. For those who are not watching from South Africa, South Africa's June 16th is a very significant day because we call it a youth day. That's why the entire month of June, we've titled it Youth Month. Why is it important for him to do the positive work that he does, but why specifically golf on June 16?
Yeah. So I'd like to firstly say this. In my opinion, we shouldn't be calling this day Youth Day. In my opinion, this day should be remembered as the Soweto Uprising. Because, you fancify these holidays and it gets to a point where it's diluted. Our kids will never understand what happened if we don't become quite clear about what happened. It's the Soweto Uprising. It's the 1976 Soweto Uprising where...
Yeah, please say the history for those who are not familiar with the history.
So it's a 1976 Soweto Uprising where on June 16, 1976, 45 years ago, the youth of Soweto took it upon themselves to go onto the streets and march against the forceful education system of Afrikaans. And
Afrikaans was the language of the oppressor.
Correct.
Was the language that was enforced for our parents to speak. And young people had had enough. Young people of Soweto specifically, which is the biggest township all over the world.
All over the world.
It's the biggest township in South Africa. It has produced some of the most influential people in South Africa. Mandela stayed there, and it's the only township in the world that has got a street with 2 Nobel Peace Prize recipients, which is the late, great Otatu Mandela and Mr. Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Sure.
100%. And for me, I just feel sad we didn't capture the holiday as such. But it is what it is. So, I've decided, through the years growing up, I've seen how different people have commemorated June 16. There's uniform school parties that happen. There's people who clean up schools. There's people who paint at community centers. So I decided to create something different. Use golf as a platform and a medium. Golf is a sport that is deemed for the rich. So I want to kill that myth as well. So I decided to create the Soweto Youth Golf Day that is going to take place on June 16 at Soweto Country Club to commemorate the Soweto uprising. I then decided to create a proposal and send to all potential sponsors, corporates, individuals. I went crazy on my social media to encourage people to support, because this is a cause that supports charity as well, the word that we don't like. So I've identified the Soweto Clipdown Youth Center as a beneficiary because it's about the youth. So we'll be donating blankets and non-perishable foods towards that particular center. Now, we've been selling wholes and individual sponsorships rather. And we sold out at the stage, by the way. And the reason why we sold out is not because people buy Keller Williams. It's because the cause is powerful. First of all, we're not going to allow any of the players to use carts on the day. We want to have caddies carry for them. That's employment for those 72 caddies on that day. We are paying them their full rate, no negotiations on what they're supposed to get paid, and they'll get meals. The second thing I'm doing is I'm bringing 10 student photographers in and around Soweto to come and showcase their talent. So they'll be the official photographers of the event. So instead of me typically employing professional photographers, I decided, no, let me give a student the opportunity. And it's up to them whether they're going to seize the moment or not. Those 10 are in competition with each other, if you think about it, because you're only as good as your last pick. You're only as good as your last deal. You're only as good as your last transaction. And that's life. That's the life that I live. I can sign a deal with you today, Spoo, but tomorrow I must hustle for the next one. You can't sign a deal today and get comfortable. I'm signing a R1 million deal and then I must rest on my laurels. There's someone else who's waiting in line to do exactly what you're doing. And so through this Soweto Youth Golf Day, we're empowering the youth, we're employing the youth, but we are also bringing business leaders and celebrities into the township economy. We are saying to them, bring your money and spend it emakasi, because most of you, if not all of you, are from a kasi of sorts. And that's what this Soweto Youth Day is about. So I've managed to get Brand South Africa on board. I'm a Brand South Africa Play Your Part ambassador. And Play Your Part basically encourages every South African or every citizen to play their part, no matter how small or big, in changing the lives of the communities that they reside in. So that's why I subscribe to what they believe in. And I've also got Gauteng Province on board and Proudly South African. So these are very strong institutions that believe in the cause of humanity that have actually come to me to say, we are behind you. We are definitely going to make sure that this becomes a success for years to come. So it's the first annual Soweto Youth Golf Day, and it's going to happen every year on the 16th of June.
I can't help but be proud of you, my brother. You inspire me. You inspire a whole lot of other people out there. Now, for instance, somebody like, before I come into myself, because I'm only really getting into real estate now.
Yeah.
I'm only starting to focus on it properly right now.
Right.
And now I've got a couple of questions to ask you. But now let's speak about our young hustlers out there. You did make a bit of an example, somebody who is a young person who's in their early 20s. And you've shared some of those tips. But I'd like for you to open up a little bit more, even not only to younger people out there, people in their 30s, people in their 40s, as far as real estate is concerned. What are some of the tips that you can share to encourage people or moves they can make to get into real estate? What are some of the things they can do to expose themselves into this world? Because it's only now I'm also aware with if I'd gotten into this earlier, I'd definitely be a billionaire already by now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just think there's this misconception that in real estate, you need to have a lot of money. There's no such. To become a player in real estate, it has a lot to do with discipline. So personal financial discipline. So what that means is that how do you manage your own personal balance sheet as a person? So here you are, you earn 10,000 Rand a month. We are spanner somewhere, but your expenses exceed your income. And that's why you end up taking credit cards, you end up taking clothing accounts, because you're actually living beyond your means. How about you actually just get rid of all that credit and work backwards? You are earning 10,000 Rands. You've got things that you need to pay. Maybe you are rent, maybe 4,000 rent. How about maybe moving to a smaller space where you can rent for 2,000 Rand? I know it's difficult because people think 10,000 Rand is not a lot. But I know people who earn that much and who live decent lives because they've prioritized what's important in terms of their expenses. There are people who earn 100 to 200,000 a month, but still live beyond their means because you start accumulating debt that is not in line with the income that you're getting. So it starts there. And that's a lesson that I learned, Nami, at a very young age. With whatever's coming in, these expenses that I've got, are they really necessary? Can I live without these? For example, clothing account. Do you really need to have a clothing account? Because at the end of the day, you are just paying interest over something that is actually not yours until you finish paying it off. How about you take that money that you are laying and put it into an interest-bearing account, for example? It's a small thing, and I'm not a financial expert, but I know being savvy means you must dot the I's and cross the T's. I can be able to tell you right now, to all my expenses, if 50 Rand gets off without my knowledge, I will be able to pick up, but who's this debit order? Phone the bank, reverse it. You need to be quite militant when it comes to your finances. And that will allow you to create a credit scoring that the banks will consider you for a home loan. That's actually how I started. You earning 10, you probably qualify for a home loan, a million. The million, you can get an apartment at 600,000, you're paying off an installment to 6,000. The interest rate is quite low now. So it's little things like that you can actually start working out. Actually, I can afford to pay 6. At least it's my place. Or actually, you know what? Get a tenant in, let them pay the 6,000 rent. And as I'm building my blocks, then this thing is working. Build your balance sheet. Go back to the bank and say, guys, I've got a bigger income. I used to earn 10, but now it's 16 because there's that 6 that's coming in. And you qualify for 1.6. Fucking your townhouse. And so it goes.
So I can use my current property.
Correct.
Without having to have to get money. Without even money.
Use the bank's money.
Use my current property using the bank's money to get the next property.
Use the bank's money. All the apartments that I own currently are bonded. Not because I can't afford them. I can pay them off. But why must I use my money? Let me use the bank's money. Because what happens is that I will buy, for example, I'll buy 5 units in one complex. Let's say they are each going for 500,000 Rands. I get bonds on each. I do, what do they call? There's a word that they use where you can access those funds. All right. So you actually pay more than what you're supposed to. So let's say the bond is 5,000 Rand. You pay 8,000 Rand. You've got access to the 3,000 Rand because it's yours. It's sitting there. So then I get to a point, I'm like, no, man, maybe there's an auction. Now I point, give me that excess facility so that I can put a deposit and then give me another bond. That's how people are scared to ask their banks because we've created this image of the banks as if they are the end all and be all.
And then you sabi skolo.
Yeah.
Can't you know?
No, skolo siyasipana.
Robert Kiyosaki usho kanjalo.
Yeah, no.
Iskolo sisipaniza mara now sisipaniza ungayobhaya izinto ezizo-depreciate imvelo.
Correct. So let's call it let's both faka in your clothing account. It's faka in an apartment. Let someone pay that off. The fortunate thing about it is that not everyone can be a landowner or a landlord. We need tenants. So there's a balance. It's like understanding your why in life. We can't all be entrepreneurs. Some people have to be in corporate so that they can give work to the entrepreneurs. Some people have to be politicians. Some people have to be in sports. So once you understand your why, it makes it easy for you to see this is where I need to be. So coming back to the banking system is that your credit scoring is what determines what the bank is going to give you, and you keep improving it because you're showing them I pay every month religiously, and I've never missed a debit order. Please. My income balance sheet has increased. I want another townhouse. Finding a tenant. Maybe you might want to move into it. Maybe you want to get out of a car or whatever. But for as long as you can try and get some income getting in, why not? That's how I started.
They call it a buyer's market, Konamanje, since lockdown.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying real estate is a good space to get into right now because it's affordable.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What is the buyer's market and how can I get into property right now in 2021? Sure.
So basically what a buyer's market means is that there's a lot of stock available in the market, which means there's a lot of sellers that are disposing of their properties. Now it's a buyer's market because the buyers have got so much variety and options. So if Sbu is selling his townhouse for 500,000 rand and TT selling the very same similar townhouse in the same complex for 600,000 rand, as a buyer, I'm in the market. It's a buyer's market. I can negotiate you down. I can come to TT and say, but your 600,000 is crazy because Sbu's got it for 500. And TT will say, no, but mine, I've put in this and that. But I can say, no, but still, you're in the same complex. What you've done actually means nothing to me because people put a sentiment to improvements. So Chai Kitchini, it used to look like this. And I'm saying as a buyer, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in getting this. So that's why it's called a buyer's market because there's so much stock available at a particular price point. When it's a seller's market, it means there's not enough stock and there's a lot of buyers who are trying to get into the market. But there's so little stock that the sellers determine the price of the stock. So that's the difference between the two. So if you're out there and you're young and you want to get into the space, you're probably working in corporate or you're an entrepreneur running your business, look at your balance sheet first. Be realistic with your finances. I think a lot of people we're not realistic about our expenses. And that's where it starts. Umuntu khola 50 koto a month. But my expenses are okay, 45. At the end of the month, selling at 5,000. And they cannot reconcile as to why. Because they don't manage their finances on a weekly and monthly basis. I mean, that's why I can tell you I've got a spreadsheet that I manage on my finances. Every week I look at it, once a week. And then at the end of the month, I sit with my accountant and we balance it. And I'll always ask her, why am I spending so much on this? What is this particular expense doing for my business? If that expense is going to double my income every month, then it's worth it. Then let's keep it. But if this expense is just a flash expense, so something like client entertainment, if I'm going to spend 50,000 rand a month on my budget for company or client entertainment, what are those clients doing for me? Am I signing new contracts? Yes, you are. It's working. Then keep it. But I'm not signing in the next 3 months any new business. Then maybe we must pull it back. Then maybe we must stop taking these clients out. Maybe we must stop entertaining them because you're not seeing the perpetual value of what you're spending against that. So
and maybe to you could be eating out. Why am I eating out instead of just being at home and cooking?
100%.
And spending less.
100%. It could be cooking. It could be going out. Why are you going out? Why are you spending money maybe at the car wash during the time? Maybe wash your own car. And I know it seems like now we try to kill other people's businesses, but it starts with you at the end of the day. There are businesses that are called essential services. And I think if COVID didn't teach you this, you need to be in an essential services business. Whatever you do, your business must be so essential that people can't live without. I'm in an essential business because people need shelter. Whether you like it or not, rich, poor, we all need shelter. Shelter is a basic human need. It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Shelter, food, clothing. So if you're in those businesses, how do you become different from the others that are competing with you? Because you're not the only person. I'm not the only real estate agent in South Africa. I'm not the only black one, but I'm certainly a cut above the rest.
His name is TT Mbha, and it's just been an awesome experience to hang out with him and just hear him speak and open his mouth. Jeez, man. It's like we've been chatting for almost an hour. But I'd like to chat to you further, but time does not allow.
Sure.
But what's beautiful is that I'm going to link up with you. What's now 2021?
Yes.
Let me link up with you again in 2 years.
100%.
No?
That's a good one.
And let's keep up. And let me also share how far I am because I'm going to be bothering you from now on. Because I'm only getting into your space, man.
Good.
There's a lot for me to learn.
Yeah.
Literally, I think like a few months ago, I called you and I asked you, I've got 2 stands I want to get rid of.
Yes.
Is it a good time? You know what I mean? I was asking you questions. So you'll be getting a lot of those from me.
With pleasure.
Because I need guidance.
With pleasure. I think that's a beauty of life, Espo, if you think about it. There was a time when I needed so much of your help and I used to call you every day because I wanted to push the songs, the gang of instrumentals, and you were the guide, you were the compass for me. And if you so what do you think I'm going to do to you when you come to me? People never forget how you make them feel.
They call it a deposit of favors, guys. So if you can help out the next person, do not necessarily help them because you're expecting them to do the same in the future, but keep depositing those favors. You might never know what can happen in the future. His name is TT, and before I let him go, we're going to send you this video in exactly 20 years, you'll be about a 60-year-old man.
Yeah,
in
62.
Mozako, they'll be in their 20s.
Yeah.
Some of them
Living it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you like to say to yourself? I'd like for you to look at that camera, actually. Look at that camera, speak to TT. You're sitting there, you've got your wife next to you, you've got your children around you, and you probably have got a couple of grandkids, maybe.
Yeah, I'm 62, right?
Yeah, it's
Right.
20 years from today. We're going to give you the video. 20 years of our fast,
Yeah, it does.
Tears Records was
It
just
does.
now.
Yo, it
Smirnoff
does.
was just now.
It does.
Now it's like we're in real estate and
Yeah.
we're all these business people and family, man. What would you like to say to yourself?
So, TT, you are 62 now. You are retired. You are looking after all your assets. You've done very well for yourself. You've kept yourself humble. And what you can do now is to teach your kids, your grandkids to remain humble. Humility is the most priceless commodity and currency in life. And I think you need to pay it back to your kids and the community that you reside in. You've done very well. Now it's time for you to enjoy the fruits of your labor and watch others come behind you.
I love you, bro.
Ah, yeah,
Not to work, man, I was I didn't even look at the script. Like,
Is it?
Yeah, because you're my boy.
Yeah, no, and there's a lot. Like you
Yeah.
and I, our history is people will never understand in relationship now because social media gives a false impression of what people know each other now,
Yeah.
and they don't realize. I've got so many pictures. There's a picture I'll send you. I'm now no. We had some launch in town.
Collectives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what is going on, but it's the city hall.
Yeah.
I'll send you that picture.
Yo, Joe. I'm so
Secret.
proud of you, TT Autiami. Pass my regards to Fro. In Jozi. May you continue being the amazing person that you are.
Yeah, well,
Change
it.
people's lives, plant seeds, help people get shelter,
Yeah.
while you are also building a legacy for your own family.
Nothing wrong with that.
Thank you,
Nothing
brother.
wrong with that. Yeah, well, fit. Hello, everybody. My name is TT Mbha, and I'm a real estate entrepreneur. And I've just been hustled on the Hustlers Corner by the one and only DJ Spoo.